So what's on the books for today?
So from Free Love, man.
Yeah. I know players fuck up and shit. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Had to put the intro back on y'all. Man, hey, look, Jack. Y'all know what it is, man. Sauce Sports. If you're not familiar with Sauce Sports, the Houston, Texas Homer Network. We be talking all sports, but only Houston. I apologize for the delay. Man, at this point, a couple of days ago, we might not have thought we'd be having these conversations right here, right now. We might have thought we would have a different conversation, but we're going to be talking about Brady. We're going to be talking about Watson versus Mahomes. Is this the new Brady versus Manning? And who else better to have, I think, an equally unbiased fan of Mahomes and a fan of Watson? Who we got joining us this evening, man?
What's up, Sauce Nation? You already know who it is. The throne is, man. It's your boy Spitz. I want to apologize for my celebratory faction the other day, post game. I know nobody will see me get like that, but I ain't gonna lie. I was a little tipsy. I was gone off the Henny. So, if y'all want more reactions like that, y'all want to contribute to Spitz Henny Fund, go ahead and hit your boy up on Twitter, Instagram. I accept PayPal's, Google Pay, what's the other one? Cash App. Hey, if y'all want to contribute to have more reactions like that, holla at your boy.
I already drop a few pennies for Spitz on the Henny, man. That's all it is.
Yeah,
You know
exactly,
man. You know what I'm saying? Ain't
Yeah.
nothing but love. Let's see who we got. Let's see who we got rocking with us tonight, man. We'll see who we got in the mix. I see Patrick, you won't pass. Master Race, what's the motherfucking deal? Average Guy, Professor Trill, what's the motherfucking deal? Charles Montgomery, what's the motherfucking deal? Vincent in the building, what's the motherfucking deal? Adrian Prebeck, what's the motherfucking deal? Ben Jova, Hugh, Ryan, what's the motherfucking deal? Lamarcus, Gilmore, C. Royce, what's the motherfucking deal? 3 Honks, what's the motherfucking deal? Nady Dog, what's the motherfucking deal? Jabari, Larry, Front Runner, what's the motherfucking deal? Rolise, what's the motherfucking deal? Eastside Hero, what's the motherfucking deal? Let me see HTX. Let me see Abdul, what's the motherfucking deal? Let me see Young Poppy in the building already. What's the motherfucking deal? 335 in the building. What's the motherfucking deal? Let's see. Teron Wilder, what's the motherfucking deal? Elijah, Debo, DeAndre, what's the motherfucking deal? Ian, D. Britton, Lauren, what's the motherfucking deal? Let's see Cayman James in the building already. What's the motherfucking deal? Let's see. Tamario, Derlin, Slim, what's the motherfucking deal? Donald, what's the motherfucking deal? Danny, Frederick, Michael, let's see. JJ, Sugar, what's the motherfucking deal? Toxic Femininity, Henry ain't gonna do shit. Toxic Femininity, get off the gas. He couldn't do shit the first meeting. He ain't gonna do shit when we actually want to. When we actually play starters. Black Schultz, Marie Hendricks, what's the motherfucking deal? Let's see.
Yeah, I do realize that if the Texans have to play the Titans again, it'll be in the championship game, and it will be in Houston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, we gotta do sauce on location. We got it.
We have to pull up on that one, man. You know what I'm saying? $9 in the building. Teddy,
we gotta pull up on that one.
What's the motherfucking deal? Carlos, what's the motherfucking deal? Yeah, we might have to pull up. Make a little splash. You know what I'm saying? Drip some sauce live on location, man. So let's talk about it, man. Like I said, we 88 deep, man. Hit that like button. The like button is free. And much appreciated, man. Like I said, well, actually, we're 98 deep with 32 likes. Come on, let's get them likes and let's get them up to at least 50, right?
Like, get them up. All
right. So, a couple of things to talk about, but let's talk about that real quick. Like you just mentioned, though, that the only way that the Texans play another home playoff game is if the Titans upset Baltimore and the Texans advance past Kansas City. Now, we could go back, and again, this is new season, 0-0, 2020, leave all old shit in the past and all of those stuff. But fuck that. We're going to go back and talk about it because, you go back and you look at some of them little crucial games that the Texans should have easily won and how it ends up impacting you in the long term. You know what I mean? Like this game, what was it? If we would have beat the Broncos, we would have been the 2 seed, right? So that would have meant Kansas City would either be coming to Houston or we basically kind of have our fate sealed. We'd have another home game, hopefully, not having to worry about the AFC Championship. If you get there, then you get there, you deal with that. But so like I said, I think just that Denver loss, again, so many people coming in, it's just a game, but that game has a trickle-down effect, and it puts you in a position where you got to play on the road, and, it can be a little bit tougher. Arrowhead is a tough stadium to play in, and something that people are telling me that kind of makes me upset, but this is something a trend that we've been hearing is you realize that even at home, it may be better on the road because the Texans seem to have played better on the road this year. But even at home, it's like the Texans don't really have a home field advantage because if you saw the Bills jerseys that were at that game, people shared some pics with me and just what was going on. Like the Bills were in there deep. You saw a lot of blue, but it was a different shade of blue. And that bitch real deep. And it bothers me because it's not just the Bills. It's almost every other game where the Texans are playing at home. You see a significant number of opposing fans come into NRG, and it's just, it's like, where is that? Why do you think that is? With Houston being such a football city, and the Texans being the biggest fan base in the city for the most part. I don't know. A lot of people jumped on the Astros after they won. But why do you think that is, man? Why do you think that the home field advantage is not quite there?
I mean, because one of the things you just said is the 4th largest city, so it's a lot of it's a big melting pot. You got a lot of I would think you have a lot of Texan fans, of course, because it's the home team, but then you also have a lot of Cowboys fans and a lot of Steelers fans, and then other teams like Oilers. Oilers / Titans. and I'm not saying that to be funny because it is a lot of people in Houston who grew up Oilers fans that never switch. They roll with the Titans. I know a couple of them. I got a couple in my family that just roll. They diehard Titans fans because they grew up watching the Oilers. Yeah. And then there's some people who switch with the Texans. You got some people switch with the Cowboys and other things like that. So it's a lot of it's a big melting pot. And like I said, like it got even though Houston is the main team, but it's just like the Rockets. I mean, a lot of people are not Rockets fans in Houston. You got a lot of LeBron fans and a lot of original Laker fans, other teams, and I've seen some Spurs fans, some Dallas Maverick fans. I think the only team in Houston that actually has Houston is the Astros, and I think that's because, like you said, they got chipped because back in 2014, well, nobody talking about no Astros. Like when Comcast had the Astros held hostage and couldn't nobody watch the Astros games. Wasn't nobody was talking about no Astros. I think probably the popular team in Houston was the Sugarland Skeeters. I'm being serious.
We know the Rockets don't ever get no love, which baffles me. They just get no love. It is what it is. Rockets games are the worst because the only time Rockets get any love is like when some other superstar comes to town. Like shit, they brought you Westbrook. Y'all love Westbrook. Why y'all still ain't selling out games? It's just, again, we can talk about traffic. We can talk about number of games and all that stuff and how that impacts it. But the Rockets games are the worst.
No, and when it comes to the Rockets games, like the Rockets depend on other celebrities to come to Rockets games. Like when other guys, I didn't see Nelly at a couple Rockets games. I didn't see I didn't see Beyonce and Jay-Z. I didn't see other celebrities come. Oh, that's when the Rockets get a lot of notoriety. When they got other people in the stands, not just people on the court. When there's other people in the stands, not just pure Rocket fans, not just Red Nation.
Yeah, and the crazy shit is, I know when they played Golden State, motherfuckers was just coming to the game late, taking pictures in the third quarter and then leaving, just to say that they was there. So crazy shit. But anyway, getting back on the Texans, man. A lot of things. Let's get to the main topic of this video, and I'm glad you're here to join me on this bit because, like I said, you've been a guy who's been watching Mahomes. You're a Tech fan, so you've been watching Mahomes since day one. So it's not like some of these newer folks who jumping on the bandwagon. And my question is, and I propose this to you, and I propose this to Sauce Nation. And again, let me put a quick poll up for y'all. Or we just get a yes or a no. We ain't gonna throw no numbers out there. We just get a yes or no. If you're in the chat, I want to know your thoughts. With these guys meeting up in the playoffs, with kind of what they've done previously, and we can talk regular season, postseason, and all that other stuff. Do you feel like that this is the first meeting of the new Brady versus Manning? And Peyton Manning, not Eli Manning. But do you think this Watson and Mahomes is the new version of that, the 2020 version?
The 2020 version, the black version, the new stylistically version. Yeah, it is. It's because both Peyton and Tom Brady were pocket passers, statues, and one about to run, one about to do none of that. This is the new age type quarterback with the gunslinger mentality that Patrick Mahomes have, and Patrick Mahomes can move. Don't get it twisted. He can move. He doesn't move as well as Deshaun and Lamar, but he can move enough. Well enough. He moves well. He moves better than the guy for his size. Because you kind of look at him and think that maybe he's kind of clumsy. Nah, he had a lot of rushing yards and a lot of rushing touchdowns at Tech. But yeah, it is. And this is where rivalries are born. Not in the regular season, not the primetime games that people like to glorify. Peyton and Brady didn't become a thing until they start meeting back-to-back postseasons, and then it started becoming real regular. Yeah. That's when it starts becoming a rivalry. And then not only that, meeting in AFC championship games. See, this right here is a start, meeting in the divisional round. And, it's a reason why that Tom Brady lost to, even though he ended up losing to Fitzpatrick down the stretch, but he lost to the young guns. He lost to Lamar first, then Deshaun, then lost to Pat. He gave up the mantle. It's up for y'all. And I know, and like I said, this is no disrespect to Lamar Jackson, or Raven fans, but kind of sort of this whole it's kind of a little bit of flavor of the month. I think that Pat and Deshaun game can transition more and be more stable than Lamar. Even though I think Lamar has the highest ceiling, because I think eventually we're going to see a game where Lamar Jackson throws for 250 and rushes for over 200 yards. It's going to be something crazy out of this world. But he also has the lowest floor that he could have like 110-yard game, which we've seen. We've seen him have games under 150 in passing yards. It's just that it doesn't get talked about because he's rushed for 100 yards or rushed for 78 yards. It would be a game eventually he won't have no rushing yards. Like, he's gonna have maybe 30 rushing yards and 115 yards passing. Yeah. Like I don't see that happening with Deshaun and with Pat. Those guys are gonna consistently get you 250 plus. Like, Pat he wakes up every morning and throws 300 yards. He throws 300 yards at a ridiculous rate. So those are gonna this is gonna be a more sustainable between these two guys, and this is where a rivalry really starts. And yes, I do think it's the answer to your original question. Yes, it is. It's the new age rivalry between these two. I think these two will be the guys that's going to be running the league for a long time to come. Even though you're going to throw in your Lamar Jackson because he's going to get his cracks at it a couple of times as well. But just like how you threw in other quarterbacks, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Ben, and stuff like that. But the main was Peyton and Tom Brady. The main is going to be Deshaun and Pat.
Okay. So I got two other questions, and one of those is why does Patrick Mahomes walk like an ostrich?
Why does he talk like Kermit the Frog?
Yeah, I mean he got some weird stuff going on there, but but seriously, the question I got for you is and with Mahomes' numbers, do you think that is KC catering to his skill set, or do you think that's just Andy Reid's lack of running the ball? I mean, because I think we know how often the Texans run, and we know how often Bill O'Brien loves to run, especially on first down. Do you think that is why those numbers look so good, or do you think that's just the smartest thing for Kansas City to do with a guy like Mahomes? I mean, to take advantage of the cannon that he has.
A little bit of both. They have the weapons to take care. They have the weapons to use, and then like Andy Reid. Andy Reid knows how to coach offense. Remember, Andy Reid was the offensive coordinator for Green Bay when they had Favre when they won the Super Bowl. So he knows how to be around a guy with a cannon of an arm. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, something that a lot of y'all don't want to hear, but it is true, because we bash on Bill O'Brien a lot. Bill O'Brien and Andy Reid are relatively the same coach. The only difference is that Andy Reid makes his offense look better. Like, he's a better watch. Anytime he was when he was the offensive coordinator in Green Bay, then when he was in Philly, with no matter if he had Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, Kevin Cobb, no matter if he had Alex Smith, of course not Patrick Mahomes, his offense was legitimate to watch. But inside a game, he would make the stupidest coaching decisions. He's even working. Him and Bill might be tick for tack when it comes to clock management and timeouts. Like both of them are atrocious at that. It's just that Andy Reid gets a pass because his product on the field looks better. The Texans' product on the field, Bill O'Brien's product on the field, doesn't look good at all outside of 2017. Yeah. Other than that, outside of those 6 games, Deshaun's rookie year, his offense doesn't look good. It's not a good watch. Even though you have all the pieces, It's not a good watch. Andy Reid doesn't have to have all the pieces, but his offense is still a good watch. And to bring it back to your original question, he knows how to bring the best out of Pat. And that was probably the best situation. Even though I wanted to draft Pat, I think that we would have never seen 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in this offense. No. There's no way. Because he would, if he has a problem with letting Deshaun run that Clemson style offense, and I gotta get that dabble out of him, ain't no way that he would let him run anything similar to Cliff Kingsbury and Texas Tech down here in Houston.
Okay. So looking at this game and looking at that, just kind of looking at these two teams, because they met earlier in the season. And the Texans came away with the win. Texans started off slow. I think they jumped up to 14, 17, something like that. The Chiefs jumped out on us early, and then the Texans
was it 17-3?
I think it was like 17-3.
Yeah, 17-3 in the first quarter.
And so they jumped out on us early. I mean, and it looked like they were about to run away with it, but the Texans got it together. They were able to keep Mahomes off the field for the most part. They dominated the time of possession, which was smart, and didn't give him the opportunities.
Right.
And then also, with a missing piece you have, because who was it? Tayshaun Gibson who called it, because Tayshaun, I think, had Patrick Mahomes' first interception last season.
And this year.
And then he got it this year. And so he won't be with the Texans, but we're going to get that a little bit more to that in a minute. But just looking at this second situation, the Chiefs seem to have improved over the season. The Texans have floundered a little bit, have gotten by with some wins. And, I mean, again, these consistent slow starts. I mean, even in every playoff game that they've let teams jump out on them early in the first half. They haven't been unable to score in the first half. Do you think that poses a problem? Is that something that the Texans could bounce back from again like they did early in the season? Or do you think the slow start, if it happens this game, baby's gonna be put the nail in the coffin?
If it's another slow start, it's good night, Irene, and you can you can call it a day. Go ahead and start calling the U-Haul people, get your stuff moving so you can get ready for the off season, because things that happen in that game that you can't bake on. Turnovers, like you just said, the Gibson pick, and then remember right before halftime, Patrick Mahomes, it was a strip sack. I think Charles Minhu got a strip sack. Guys in the and that's actually how we got the lead. Charles Minhu gets a strip sack with less than 2 minutes left, and Deshaun runs in and gets his first rushing touchdown of the game, and then you go up halftime. I think it was 20. Was it 21 to 17 or something like that, or 20 to 17, something in that nature. So you go up because of that strip sack. You can't count on turnovers. You can't pencil in turnovers because sometimes people have clean games. The only time you can count on a turnover is if you're playing Tampa Bay. That's the only time that you can we're gonna get some turnovers today. That's the only team that you can be all right. We gonna if you ain't playing Jameis, you can't count on no turnovers. Sure. Because I'm balling. That's bar none. But you cannot afford to go on the slow start. I do think they're going to try to use the same game plan, which is keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hand. Which we've been crushing Bill O'Brien about not throwing the ball, but that Chiefs game might have been his best coaching.
Correct.
Because it did the job, was keep Pat on the sideline. Pat still threw for over 300 yards in that game, and he only had the ball, I think, 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, 5 minutes of the second half, and 1 minute of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, just ridiculous.
And still threw for right at 300 yards and had 3 touchdowns. So that stat line alone is crazy, that he only had the ball for 5 minutes out of a 30-minute period. 5 minutes, and out of the whole fourth quarter, he only had the ball for a minute of time, not real time, of play clock time. That's all he had. So that right there shows you how much you dominated and controlled the clock. They did it with short passes. They actually had Deshaun playing quote unquote game manager. I think he had his second most pass attempts. His most pass attempts against Denver, he had 51. I think he had 50 against, I got to look at it. It's either 49 or 50 against the Chiefs, but it was at only 5 yards per attempt, which is very, very, very pedestrian. If you get 7 yards, that's not good. But at 5 yards per attempt, that's very pedestrian, very Dink and Dak, Chad Pennington type attempts. But it was enough to keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, and I think that they're going to try to use that same game plan. And that's with the defense that you have, with the secondary that you have. It's not like you rolling out there with just a hog of corners out there that you can definitely man up and you can afford to leave them on islands. You don't have Darrell Reeves back there. Shit, you don't even have AJ Bouye or Jalen Ramsey back there, so you can't afford with these guys, especially the way Bradley dropping picks. You can't be doing it. If you get those opportunities, if he gives you those opportunities, you have to take them. Yeah. You can't have your eyes too big, already celebrating, looking at the end zone. You have to catch that ball, because even if you don't score, as long as you get the pick, that's good enough.
Exactly. Yeah, we need both sides of the ball taking advantage of every opportunity that is given. Now I can't recall. I can't remember. Was Roby available last? Was he available the first KC game?
he played the first half, and that's when he got hurt.
Okay, and
He played well. Up until the Patriots game, that was his best game. That like he was for the parts that he played very solid. Like that's That's also Rack's best coaching is the Kansas City game and the Patriots game. Even though he had his guys, he had Roby and Conley and Hargraves and Lyon Johnson in that game in the Patriots game, because those are the two games that he played more aggressive, more press man. He didn't sit back and have everybody at the end zone and play a couple. He played more. He had a more aggressive game plan, and it worked. Now the Colts, they play extremely aggressive. The Colts play very aggressive the week prior. I think they played 85% man in that game. Like they played very aggressive. We didn't play that aggressive. They played very aggressive when they got the win against Kansas City the week before. So you have to play aggressive in that game. You have to that's part of the game plan. If you're gonna play defense, because if you play zone, Pat is going to sit back.
We can't get them kind of cushions against Pat. Pat gonna eat you up all day. You might as well just go ahead and not even show up if you're gonna do that.
You have to give a man, and you have to send the pressure. You have to get him out the pocket.
Correct. Okay. Tyreek Hill did play that game, for whoever was saying. That's the first game he came back. And actually, I think, did he have 2 touchdowns? I know he had one because he did the backflip. And then
he had 2 because he had a touchdown on his first catch. It was the one over it was in double coverage. He still made the catch on Reed, and was it Reed and Gibson?
I don't know if it was Reed. I know Reed was in there. But I can't remember who the other person was. Like I said, I can't. Don't let me lie to you and tell you it was Gibson over Reed and Gaines. Oh, Philip. That's right. Philip Gaines was in that game. Oh man, that's the situation you were in. So, but like I say, looking at all that though, again, this Chiefs team though, since that day, or since then, have improved. You got, and like I say, wanted to get into this is a lot of people here in Houston said there was a particular player that the Chiefs picked up, said he wasn't worth the money. Fuck him. He's trash anyway. Ends up being an all-pro. Guy we got is all injured for the playoffs when you need him the most. And I'm not knocking Gibson, because Gibson had a decent year. The numbers that tight ends put up on us overall did decrease. I mean, it was significantly different than we've seen in years in the past. But, Gibson is I'm not hating on him. Like I said, I wasn't even mad because, like I said, the money, whatever you want to call it, it is what it is. But again, he won't be here to be that guy to claim that he's going to get another pick. And I like Gibson a little bit because he talks a little bit of trash. And so, it's okay. But how are you looking at that move now with the Honey Badger being on the other side, going all pro, and then us, picking up Gibson, and, kind of when you need him most, he's not available. Even though he was there for, 15 games or so. No, I think he actually missed a game or two in the middle of the season. But for the majority of the season, he was there. But you had a guy who you had on your roster that you could have retained, but you were playing pussyfoot with, and then he ends up going all pro on another team.
Okay, this is the deal with the whole Honey Badger situation. The Chiefs did overpay for Honey Badger, but it was the market that was set.
Correct.
That is the market was set because what was it? Landon Collins that went to Washington and got paid, and that set the market. You had an opportunity to sign him during the middle of the season, and you didn't do it. You knew he's on a 1-year deal. You didn't do it, I guess, because Honey Badger did not have. He was all pro this year. He didn't have an all pro season last year.
Correct.
I've said this numerous times that I would have kept Kareem over Honey Badger. Like if I had a choice at 2, like Kareem if it was my choice, Kareem would still be on this team. It would be strictly as a safety, not just going back and forth with corner and safety. He would definitely be a safety. I think that Kareem was a better safety than he was a corner. I think Kareem last year was playing at an All-Pro level and was robbed of the Pro Bowl. At the very least, was robbed of the Pro Bowl. But I think that's more so because the Texans start putting him back at corner in certain games, and it took away from him being quote unquote safety, and he didn't get the recognition that he should have got. So I think the team itself did him a disservice. But at the same time, the team did Honey Badger disservice as well, because I think that's the reason why Honey Badger is an all-pro now, because that defense benefits. He benefits from the way that defense plays because it's going all the way back to Rack. he has people playing out of position and doesn't have the guys in the secondary playing the coverages that they're supposed to play. He doesn't dictate to their skill sets and what they do best. So Honey Badger wouldn't have been an All-Pro. Even if Honey Badger was here, he would not have the season that he had in Kansas City. He would not have been an All-Pro because it's not a right fit. And truth be told, the only reason why Honey Badger was in Houston was because him and JJ have the same agent, and Houston is 3.5, 4 hours away from New Orleans, and that's where he's from. That's it. Like that's it. Because he was close to home, but not really at home, so he can see his people when he want to see them. But he far enough just to, when y'all get on my nerves, y'all can go.
Yeah.
Don't
ask for no more tickets. Y'all got enough tickets to see. Don't ask for no
more. I'm close enough to see y'all if I really want to, but not. I'm far enough away that I'm actually away. That dynamic, and then him and JJ was cool because they have the same agent. Nothing else attracted him to Houston. Truth be told, nothing else attracted him to Houston. And I'm pretty sure when he got here, Houston, the dope city, you got Deshaun, you got Hop, you got all this, he would like to stay. But from a football X's O standpoint, the marriage didn't fit because they wasn't using him correctly. And I could see that being the same case of reason why Roby would leave too. Because it's not benefiting them. It's not benefiting them. What the way they play defense here doesn't benefit the way these guys' skill set plays to, and they can't. Outside of winning was the reason why I need to stay. When I can go somewhere else and get big money and play the style I want to play.
Exactly.
What you mean you disagree? What you disagree about, Trill?
Trill disagree Trill wake up disagreeing. The sun be up. I disagree with the goddamn sun. It's too bright, goddamn. But here's the thing, though, man. So you mentioned something, right? And I want to just hit on this little tangent real quick because you mentioned the only reason that Honey Badger came here, JJ having the same agent. Well, there's a guy who has the same agent as another guy of a team you mentioned earlier, which was the Colts. And that guy is Eric Ebron and Watson having the same agent. Now, he hinted and threw some little stuff out there. He's not going to be returning to the Colts. But the Texans have a plethora of tight end talent. Would you entertain Eric Ebron at the right price? And and the right price to me, I'm not sure what you would think that right price would be. Or do you stick with what you got, some of these guys you got on the roster already, and just let them develop?
Man, we got all these damn tight ends. We still got Kylie Warren. We don't know nothing about him.
Correct. And he got a headache and they put him on IR. Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah. Because they got so many different tight ends. They could do a lot of stuff. That just another tight end, and from what I'm hearing is that's part of the reason why Bill O'Brien and Brian Gaines fell out, because Bill O'Brien like, damn, you brought in another damn tight end. Like, I can't play with all these damn tight ends.
That's interesting.
Like, so you can't come. You really can't come out there 4 tight end sets.
Yeah, I don't even know. But
so and then also we talk about Fuller. Ebron drops catches all the time. Ebron drop catches all the time. Like Ebron got that run last year because he had luck and they threw the ball up and he had a whole bunch of touchdowns. I think with luck had 30 some touchdowns. So yeah, you throw the ball up, you gonna get if we would throw the ball more. I'm like Darren Fells was second in the league in tight ends. If we throw the ball more, like I said, Deshaun barely throws the ball down here. We throw 20, 25 times. We just right at that. Just enough to get by. If we out there throwing the ball, I'm pretty sure Darren Fells probably has 13 touchdowns. Remember Deshaun's rookie year when we were throwing the ball a lot, Hop led the league in touchdowns with 13. So Ebron was in a situation where he was getting a lot of targets because of luck. Luck ain't there no more. You throw in those targets, touchdowns go down. He doesn't have the same luster. Oh, it's time for you to go somewhere else.
Okay. Look, we 220 deep, man. 80 likes. Let's get to that 100 mark, man. Can we get 20 likes to get to the 100 like mark? That's all I'm asking y'all, man. Look, the likes are free. If you can hit the dislike button too, if you don't like it, I don't give a shit. But here's the deal. And like I say, mentioning a couple other players that I think, like I say, the impact on this game. Let's talk about J.J. Watt. And here's my thing. And people were saying like, this, that, and the third about JJ. I said right before the game, anything that you get from JJ is a plus. But JJ went out there and had a heck of a game. He made an impact late in the game and really, put some pressure on Allen and did some things. Again, we talked about the little hoop throw, but that's neither here nor there. He made up for that. But JJ, in this game, I mean, how are you feeling about him and what he can do? I mean, is it? Well, it's a plus either way because, like I say, I think he came back early for everybody. But do you think that he's going to be the key to this defense being able to maybe rattle Pat, maybe make some throws off balance or off target, and maybe the secondary can capitalize off of that? Or how big of an impact overall do you think JJ will have versus the Chiefs in this game?
It depends on how much that he plays. I don't know. I don't know if you sent it, but I sent a picture to the guys in the sauce. In the chat that it was one particular play. If I'm not mistaken, I think it might have been the Jacob Martin sack that JJ had 4 guys blocking him. JJ's getting double teamed. JJ's getting double teamed, and then the center and the other guard turned this way facing at JJ, and the way the picture is JJ is 3 guys, and then is Martin going scot-free. So just like stuff like that, like double teaming, so just when JJ's on the field, the same thing, the whole Will Fuller effect, because when the defense sees Fuller out there, they know that there's a chance he can go deep. The safety's got to play back. So when JJ's on the field, we got everything to stop JJ because we can't allow JJ. We can't let him get the sack. If somebody else get the sack, somebody else beat us, cool, but we can't allow him to get the sack. He can have an impact in that way, but his impact in NRG is different because I know you say it, and a lot of people get mad and offended when you say it, but what you say is the truth. There's people like us who've been here since 2002. We Texas fans, whatever the case may be. You got people who came over from Clemson and Deshaun Watson fans, but the big portion of the Texan fan base are Justin James Watt fans. It is what it is, and it's telling because if anybody else gets that sack, if it's Merciless, if it's Charles Amenahu, if it's Scarlett, if it's Jacob Martin, if it's DJ Reed, if anybody else gets that sack, the crowd doesn't ignite like that, and it doesn't feed that energy to get the offense going, and they score a touchdown and get a 2-point conversion because it was JJ. The way that the crowd roared, because I know you talked about the stadium not being full or not being full of Texas fans, the way that the crowd roared because it was JJ that made that sack. It was like you would have thought there was a tie game or the Texans were already up.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was like that in a 16-0 game at home. That's how it was. It was like that. It was like you were at the lead or the game was tied. He made a crucial sack then. The way the crowd erupted. If anybody else makes that sack, you don't get that reaction. That's why I said about the basketball hoop play. If JJ caught that pick 6 and scored a touchdown, if he was the game would have been over then. No matter what else happened, because the crowd would have erupted if JJ would score a touchdown. Oh, yeah. So
another JJ impact touchdown. Shit.
Yeah, if JJ against, remember he also had that 80-yard touchdown against the Bills, the one in the regular season. So if when NRG, his impact is more so the crowd and the way to get the crowd into it, because the game that he got hurt against the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, I knew the game was over then because JJ gets hurt. The crowd was dead silent all the way up until Will Fuller catches that touchdown in the fourth quarter to bring you down by a touchdown. Other than that, the crowd ain't say shit. Yeah. So the crowd comes and goes when 99 comes and goes. No matter what else is going on, no matter how much we talk about Deshaun, the crowd comes and goes when 99 comes and goes because the majority of the fan base is Justin James Watt fans. It's just the truth.
Okay. And Austin Tucker said he was there, and he said he was louder than the comeback with the Seahawks versus the Packers. See, and that's what I'm saying. And it is what it is. Like I said, it is what it is. And if you vote, and make sure you vote properly, ! Vote as one word and then a space and the number that you're voting for. And so that's what I'm saying. And again, it is what it is. I guess it's an advantage in certain situations, but again, you won't be able to rely on that, when you're on the road. Even though Texas fans do travel pretty decently on the road. You got to travel in Texas and all that. So, it is what it is.
Travel well to Tennessee. I know that much.
Look, they're giving away tickets in Tennessee. They hoping people come. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about another guy, man. And this guy pulled the okie doke on us this weekend, and I said it earlier in the week, so I'm not even like surprised that Will Fuller, if Will Fuller shows up questionable or limited at any time during the week, Will Fuller's not playing. I don't know what he's looking like this week. I haven't seen anything, but he's not going to play, and that's ultimately what happened in that game. And this offense comes and goes as Will Fuller comes and goes. But this is going to be about 3 weeks now. He was out there running routes and doing some shit pregame, this Saturday. Is it essential that Will Fuller plays in this game to be able to beat Kansas City?
Yes. Hop is your best receiver. Will Fuller is your biggest wild card and your biggest threat because he's a potential touchdown. Anytime he's on the field, he's a potential touchdown waiting to happen. And also, just what he does, he frees everybody up. It's just I know Will Fuller drops catches, but just the threat of Will Fuller being there, at the very least, it frees up Hop. If it doesn't free up Hop, it frees up Kenny Stills, and that's how you had Kenny Stills get those back-to-back touchdowns against the Titans. Also, the reason why Kenny Stills was wide open in the end zone on Sunday Night Football against the Patriots, and also on Monday Night Football against the Saints, that should have been the game winner. Talk about games be dropped. If you hold on to that Saints game, you the number 2 seed. Like it's a lot. That Saints game, it's a lot. The Texans could potentially be looking at the 1 seed.
Correct. Yeah.
They let a lot of stuff slip by.
Yeah.
But
you can say that Saints game. You can look at that Carolina. The Carolina game killed me. I think the two biggest to me was that Carolina game and that Denver game bothered the shit out of me because of you playing backups and guys who hadn't really had significant time in the league, and you let them kind of come in and control the situation. Very inexperienced guys when you should have been able to dominate both those. Those are the things that I think that bothered me the most. But it is what it is. The Texans are going to have to fight. They're going to fight on the road to get to where they want to get to, and it is going to be an interesting outcome, ultimately. But talking about playoffs,
playoffs.
Yeah, and again, like I say, I'm happy to be here. You look, y'all. This is what I'm saying. Like this, y'all sitting here saying, "Oh, you guys are just hating on the Texans." No, we want the Texans to win, but again, likelihood of certain situations. So, everybody in that first half felt the same way we've been feeling all season about a lot of shit. And don't sit here and say, "No, I believed in them. I knew they were going to come back." No, you didn't. If you say that, you're a motherfucking liar. When they was down 16-0. Everybody was like, "Oh, here we go again. Same old Texans, same old playoff Texans." Everybody felt that way. And that's what they show you more often of than they show you that comeback quality, like that ability to come back and win games. And so that's why it's just like you just kind of have, you don't want to get too high on them. You want to root for them. You love, it's your team. It is what it is. But it's like at certain points, it's just like you hate seeing this shit. You get tired of it.
We don't see Denver every week, and we don't see versus the Patriots every week. But you know what you do see a lot of? Tennessee, a lot of at Carolina, the first game against Jacksonville, the game against Tampa Bay, when you just we won, but like it was, you won, but not impressive fashion. Because look at last year, the 9-game winning streak. Like you said before, you're supposed to win 9 games. But if you look at those games, did you really win 9 straight games, or did you just do a lot of bucket up wins?
Yeah, it was like and that was the thing, because it was just like 9 of those games. What was it? 2 playoff teams in that 9-game streak, and that was the Colts and Cowboys, and then those were both in overtime. And then the rest of those games were like much closer than they should have been. And again, I know people say win is a win, and I would take it. I'm just like, it is what it is.
And the Redskins going into that game would have been a quality win, but then you knock out Alex Smith and
Cole McCoy come in there. You come in and give me the business.
Yeah, exactly. So Case Keenum in Denver, that shouldn't have been a close game.
Correct.
I think the only game in that sequence that you dominated in those 9 games. You dominated start to finish the Thursday night game against Brock Osweiler and the Dolphins.
Correct.
You pretty much, even though it was a quote unquote efficient day by Mariota, you pretty much dominated the Titans, and you should have dominated Cleveland. But if it wasn't for Justin Reed knocking out the ball going to the end zone, you like that game could have been a little bit more closer than it was supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's the thing, and that's why you got to commend. That's why I say a lot of times it comes down to when people get mad, well, you guys don't give the coaches enough credit. Some of y'all don't give the players enough credit, because it's a lot of times that the players go out there and make spectacular plays that you're just not going to replicate. Justin Reed has done the shit so many times. Like I said, you could talk about that Titans game. Could have definitely went the other way had Justin Reed not made that hit, and Whitney Merciless doesn't capitalize on it. Him knocking the ball out, like that's something you cannot draw up. You can't draw shit up like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like so, and so plays like that you have to get these players credit. Like I said, Justin Reed, the Cleveland game, he did it. The Redskins game, he ran it back. Like
the Jacksonville game this year on the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's just like the Hopkins spin against the Cowboys. That shit wasn't drawn up. Like that was the craziest shit. I got dizzy watching that shit. I get dizzy thinking about it right now. So it's like y'all got to realize the talent level on this team. And for us to just barely be winning games like that, when you see these guys pull these amazing things time and time again, if this coaching staff could utilize these guys properly, the Texans should be in that 1-2 seed consistently. And that's where our frustration comes in with Bill O'Brien. That's where our frustration comes in with the organization, because it's not that Bill O'Brien isn't winning games. He's winning them. Your record is what, you are what your record says you are. But that record could be so much better. And that's what most people aren't getting. It's not like we hating them. It's like, do you not see how much better we could be? Like, do you not see like how much more of a dominant presence in the NFL we could be? But we just happy winning these fucking division titles and stuff. But it is what it is. This is a chance, and this is the next question I want to get into, is if he comes away with a win, goes to the AFC Championship, has Bill O'Brien rewritten his playoff legacy, or does he have to prove more than that on a consistent basis?
Doug Marrone made to the AFC championship game, and so did
There's the Titans coach.
Chuck Pagano, could think of his name. Chuck Pagano. So no, you still show. I mean, it's like I said, until you do it on a consistent basis. I mean, Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl, and then let's just talk about how, like, we could talk about the Texans all day long. I'm just glad I'm not a Cowboy fan. Just to throw it out there, because that Mike McCarthy hire is horrendous. But in saying that, like you have to do it on a consistent basis, or was it just a fluke? Was it just a fly by night, or did you just look up and you were just blessed to have inherited a team that has so much talent across the board that you're able to just actually go out there and win strictly on talent, like you a college team or a high school team? So you do have to do it. You have to show it on a consistent basis, because you got so much bad taste in our mouth that you make it to an AFC Championship game that earns that gives you the pass. Okay, we'll dial it back next year. We might even dial it back 2 years from now. That earns you that, but it doesn't earn you more than that. It doesn't go, we believe in Bill O'Brien. Like, you have to bring me a championship, or do it on a consistent basis for me to be like, okay, we got the guy. Because so many variables fall into it. Like, I mean, certain balls bounce away, but his track record going forward, and it seems like this. Why every time Bill O'Brien has a game, every time we get a win, we always say this: is this the biggest? If this is the biggest win in the Bill O'Brien era? No other coach goes through that.
Correct.
Not even other coach. Anytime they get any win, is this the biggest win? Do you think they down there? We bash on them. Do you think they saying down there in Tennessee, this is the biggest win in Vrabel's career? Nobody's saying that. But every time, is this the biggest win in Bill O'Brien? We can't say this. No. We beat the Chargers. This is the biggest win in Bill O'Brien's era. We beat the Chiefs. It's the biggest win in Bill O'Brien. Patriots. This is definitely the biggest win in Bill O'Brien's era. He wins a playoff game. Is this the biggest win in Bill? It's every single time he gets a win. unless it's against Jacksonville. Because he showed you consistently he can beat Jacksonville and Tennessee.
Yeah.
Other than that, every time he gets a win, is this the biggest win in Bill O'Brien era? Is this a heartbreaker loss against the Saints, but this would have been the biggest win in Bill O'Brien era? I'm thinking that. And that right there shows you that obviously there's something wrong if every time you get a win, somebody has to say, is this the biggest win in the era?
Correct.
Like, nobody anybody else. So just make it to an AFC South or AFC Championship game doesn't validate you. It starts to open the conversation, but it doesn't validate you the slightest.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that puts you at what, 500. So you kind of have to, again, I think you have to get over that hump. With all the opportunities that you've had to get into the playoffs. So, but let's take a look at this.
What?
2-3 now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's 2-3.
So that would be 500. So you need a couple of wins to get over that hump.
Yeah, because like if he gets the AFC Championship game to lose, he'll be 3-4. So he has to make it to the Super Bowl just to have the guarantee a win, just to guarantee a 500 record. Because even if he loses the Super Bowl, he'll be 4-4.
Correct.
You have to win a Super Bowl to have a winning record.
Okay. I see everybody talking about J.J. Guerrero getting traded to Chicago, so he's going to go for 5 sacks on Sunday. He going to have a dry dick. He's going to be over there mad.
Where is Guerrero got traded?
Yeah, that's wild. I don't know that much about soccer. We got to holler at Hector. Maybe Hector can give us the insight on that one, man.
That's what y'all do. I would think they would keep her just because JJ here.
Yeah. I don't know, but I mean, has the soccer season started? I mean, we'll have to see what all happens with that. But JJ, he gonna be mad. You gonna trade my chick? Oh, I'm gonna take it out on y'all. One last thing I want to get into, just looking at this game here, or not even really necessarily looking at this game here, but some side stories in relation to this game. You know what I'm saying? And I want to talk about the Titans for a second. I want to talk about the Titans, and at this point, if you're comparing the teams, the Titans overcame a bigger hurdle than the Texans. If I'm just going to be honest about it. If you're talking about playoff Patriots versus the Bills, and what team are you going to lean for, you're going to say the Patriots are a better team 10 times out of 10. With the experience, the Brady factor and all of that stuff. So to me, being a lower seed, tweaking into the playoffs, and getting a more quality win, in my opinion, and had it and won it, I wouldn't say handily, but won it in a solid fashion compared to what the Texans had to do. What is it right now? What is it? How are you feeling about? Okay, let me throw a hypothetical in there, I guess, to make this a more sensible question. If the Titans advance because they have a tougher road, and the Texans do not, what does that say about? Does that have an impact on what people say about the Texans, or is it just the Titans? They were just built for it. They were better built. What would you feel if that situation took place?
The Titans are the team that got hot, and I mean they exist right now. They're the more physical of the two teams. I think Texas is the better talented team across the board, but the Titans are way more physical. Then they're more physical than the Texans, and their coach. Even though it's funny that because Vrabel technically comes from the Bill O'Brien coaching tree, not the Patriots coaching tree, because he was a Bill O'Brien's assistant as a linebackers coach and then a DC, so he comes from the Bill O'Brien coaching tree. That I think Vrabel at this point of his career is a better coach than Bill O'Brien because it took Bill O'Brien. Okay, for instance, Bill O'Brien has yet to win a playoff game on the road. Has won 4 division titles, have yet to win a playoff game on the road. He'll get his chance Sunday, but Vrabel's already won a playoff game on the road his first time. Both of them made it to the playoffs their second year. Both of them started off their careers 9-7 both years, 9-7, and then 9-7. Both of them get to the playoffs their second year. Now the difference is Bill O'Brien won a playoff game. Bill O'Brien won a playoff game, and Vrabel got in as a wild card. But yet, Bill O'Brien was shut out 30-0 at home, where Vrabel won his wild card game on the road against the Patriots at Gillette. So, from that standpoint, yes, it is more impressive. By going on the road, they would never. They dominate that game, and they were always in that game. It took JJ getting the sack and the crowd getting juiced up for you to get back into the game because you were in danger of having another 30-0 type of performance at home. I think the Bills might be a better team than the Patriots, though.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, I know the Patriots beat the Bills twice, but one of the Patriots wins against the Bills wasn't even against Josh Allen. It was against Matt Barkley because Josh Allen got knocked out with a concussion in the first half. And in that game, it took them a block. It took a block punt to for them to win the game. And the second game, the one they just lost in Gillette, the Bills actually should have won that game. The Bills got fucked over on one of those calls in that last drive. I forgot, was it a holding call or passing fair? But it was some poor officiating in that game on that final drive that cost the Bills that game, and possibly cost the Bills the division. But I mean, like I said, I think that. Like just the way that the Patriots constructed, I was telling people this even when they were undefeated before they lost. Like, this is not your grandfather's Patriots team. This is not the same team. I know people are reluctant to say that because it's Tom Brady. You don't want to give up Tom Brady. You don't want to give up the Patriots. But I say it's just like Golden State last year in the playoffs when everybody was hurt and people still rock with Golden State. It's not the same team. Yeah, they got the same colors. They got the same name. They play at the Oracle. It's not the same. It's not the same Golden State. They play in Gillette. Tom Brady is there, but Gronk ain't in that dope. He don't have Wes Welker. He ain't got Moss. Like it's not the same team.
Okay. Look, we 241 deep, man. We need 16 likes to get to the 150 mark, man. Hit that like button. Let's make it shake.
Hit the like.
Okay, we got a couple more minutes here before we get ready to wind down. For those of you who don't know, the sauce has moved from 7 p.m. Central Time to 6 p.m. Central Time. And if you rock with the Den Show has moved from 10 p.m. Central Time to 9 p.m. Central Time. So just to update your schedule, your calendar, whatever. I know it's awkward. It's awkward for me too. I'm still getting adjusted myself. It's a little weird, getting ready a little bit earlier, but it is what it is. So here's my thing though. And we talked about Bill O'Brien and his playoff legacy. I want to jump back to that real quick, but I want to talk about Watson and his playoff legacy. Because right now he is 1-1 himself, and right now their two legacies are kind of walking hand in hand. So what Watson goes is where Bill goes in a sense, or vice versa, or it depends on how far you go. But what are you thinking about Watson's playoff legacy right now? Did because last year looked terrible, but you could always throw the caveat, and then I think you'd have to apply that same caveat for Bill if you did. We could say, oh well, no Fuller, a bunch of no name receivers, Hop was hurt, you didn't really have anything going for you. Okay. This year makes a miraculous play at the end of the game to solidify the win, after going into overtime and everything else with that. What is Watson's playoff legacy right now, in your opinion?
Right now, it's trending in the right direction because everybody talks about the play to Tywan Jones, and that wasn't even the best play. To me, the best play was the touchdown because he's a quarterback and he gets hit with the 7-yard line and carries two defenders into the end zone like he's Derrick Henry, like he's a big body back when he's a quarterback. He's not even a big quarterback like a Josh Allen or a Ben Roethlisberger or Dante Culpepper. He's not even one of those big body quarterbacks. He's relatively speaking, he's a normal sized guy, and carry those guys to the end zone, then backdoor with that 2-point conversion, and then just the brilliance that he displayed. I mean, he was with 13 to 14 after going 13-14 in the fourth quarter and the second and overtime, and only one incompletion was a wide open drop that failed. Should have had. It should have converted the first down in overtime. So his trajectory is going up because the last time you see him. You think that okay, this guy now the moments are beginning. Now we starting to see the moments. Okay, now we're starting to see the heart. Now we're starting to see okay, you can't count this guy out. He got the clutch gene, all the cliches you want. He big time players made big time plays in big time games. All the stuff you want to throw out there. Bill O'Brien is a little bit different. Yes, they're going quote unquote hand in hand because this is his quarterback. Like I stated earlier. I don't think anybody's perception of Bill O'Brien outside of Cal and who knows about him. at this moment we're all just speculate. Nobody knows. I mean, he can make it to AC South Champion. He can make the AC Championship game, get blown out, and he gets fired. That we hope that, but we just speculate. I think that everybody else has a lot of questions about Bill O'Brien and will continue to have questions until he gets to the game. Like until he plays until the first Sunday on February. Other than that, I don't think that anybody else's opinion is going to change until he plays on the first Sunday in February, or he starts being in this conversation year in and year out. In the situation playing AFC Championship games year in year out. Other than that, because we had a lot of bad taste. Yep. We got 30-0 Kansas City. It was kind of cooked. You got 21-0 at home. Watson's on a different. Even if Watson loses to Kansas City, if Watson plays well, I think people still feel good about. Oh man, it was an epic battle between Deshaun and between Pat. Boom. But if it's but they're not going to say the same thing about Bill. They're going to talk about Bill fucked up the game, especially if he does something dumb in the game.
Yeah. Okay. I see that. I can definitely see that. But like I said, as we get ready to wind down here, man, make sure y'all, if y'all want to be a part of the live conversation, we telling y'all, we're not just saying this just because, but I'm talking about like really classic, pure entertainment. You have to join the Discord. The only way to join the Discord is to sign up for the Patreon at the $5 tier or higher. You can chop it up with us live. I mean, anytime, really, because, I mean, you can access the Discord at any time. But we're live during the games, and when I say it's some of the funniest, most entertaining shit, you talking about live reactions, you talking about just pure entertainment. Like, I fuck with the sauce, and the sauce is always entertaining. If y'all got a glimpse of the post-game show when we had everybody in there, imagine all that going on throughout the entire game. You know what I'm saying? So you got to join, again, patreon.com/saucesports to be a part of that at the $5 tier. Man, join that shit. That shit is pure comedy. Shout out to all of you in Sauce Nation who have joined in. And again, you can join us live. You can talk live too, or if you just want to relax in the chat and you can chat or whatever, you can put pictures, all that good stuff in there. But you can chop it up with us live and direct. Like I say, you can voice chat with us and respond. And it's a damn good time. That shit is. I'm like I say, I'm not saying it because it's all sports. Oh, Honcho gonna promote it. When I say it's some of the funniest shit, and then when the topics fucking go offhand, like when they go a little bit left and a little bit right, it gets even funny. I mean, y'all just it's too hot for TV.
it is pure and utter gold. Like there's no way to say it's pure gold. It's probably one of the best ways to watch the game. Even though Honcho, for the most part, truth be told, Honcho had his thing on mute, probably up there cheering, jumping up and down. He didn't want nobody to know he was celebrating. Because Honcho got quiet a couple times in crucial moments.
No, I'm telling you, man, I was in there, but I was so even keeled through this whole game. I'm not gonna lie. I was just like,
it was too much even keel.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm not finna get up. I'm not finna get down. Because the way it started off, I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, man, this is about to be. I'm just not even gonna let myself get mad about it. When they came back and won that bitch, I was like, well, okay.
And if y'all thought my reaction was funny, the person to listen for is Wink throughout the whole game. Wink gonna have you crying the whole game. Somebody drop a pass, somebody catch a pass, or whatever. Wink gonna fire somebody up all game long.
Wink calling grown men all kind of sluts and whores and all kind of just, oh my God, dog. That shit is fucking hilarious. When I'm talking about pure comedy, dog, like,
yes,
it gets no better. It gets absolutely no better. But here's the deal, man. It's about that time. Mr. Spitz, anything you want to say before we slide up out of here, man?
Man, I guess what Deshaun and Hop and Pat saved the sauce for another week at least. Yeah. Enjoy it. See y'all Sunday. I'm gonna drop a video doing my pregame sometime midweek. But hey, this is gonna be very interesting. This is gonna be very, very interesting, especially seeing these guys on this level playing at this juncture. Just a quick question: is it just me? But I actually have, because they keep on talking about the Texans on Saturdays. I have no issue with the Saturday games. I actually prefer the Saturday games because the Saturday games, because they're later and it's on a Saturday, it feels more like playoffy because it's different. The games they just feel like regular games.
Yeah.
Like they were at regular times, like noon and 3:00, and it was over. Like it just felt like it was on Sunday. It just felt like a regular game. The Saturday at night, it just cause it's different both ways. It's a night game and it's Saturday.
Yeah.
It felt more playoff. The atmosphere was more playoffish.
Yeah. I rock with it because it gave me a Sunday off, so gave a little gap in it just to recuperate, just decompress from some of the pressures the Texans be putting you under, man. But I rock with it. I think like I was at first, I was kind of like, Professor Trill be in there eating and shit on the Discord, you know what I'm saying? Talking about, let me get this steak. Yeah, I came in here yesterday. Y'all fucked my order up. Get my shit right this time. Go whoop your bitch ass. Trill on the Discord threatening waitresses and shit. You know what I'm saying? I think
they probably spit and licked all in his shit.
Nigga, you gonna come back? Huh? You gonna come back and complain? I got your ass. They gonna spit all on that steak. But shout out, yes, Trill be in the Discord too, holding it down too, man. With the road rage and all. So like I'm telling y'all, man, y'all, you just, we can't explain enough because so much goes on. I'm telling you, will not be disappointed. Patreon.com/SaltSports. The link is in the description below. Man, y'all you just gotta be there. And like I said, we're gonna try to get some shit going during the week too. Just random chop it up, maybe like some random, like I say, random roundtable conversations or whatever else it may be. So we gonna make it work. We're gonna bring out some more stuff on the Discord too, just out of appreciation. I'm gonna try to see. Like I said, I'm gonna holler at the roundtable, see what they got going. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. Every single one of y'all. If you ain't hit that like button, man, please hit that like button. It's greatly appreciated. Let YouTube know there's something good going down on this side of town. Again. Y'all are the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. Whether we agree, whether we disagree, whether you represent another team, however you get down, you are your own individual ingredient. And when you bring that to the sauce, man, that's what makes the flavor so motherfucking fresh. So I appreciate everybody who's being here. Everybody who's been down since day one. Some of you who are just discovering it, man, it's all love for everybody. Shout out to Mr. Spitz, a.k.a. the Throwless Ingredient. Appreciate you for being here. Shout out to Wink. Shout out to Tenny. Shout out to Hector. Shout out to Trill. Shout out to D. Davis, a.k.a. Swisher. Shout out to Ray Ray. Let me see, make sure I ain't forgetting, but shout out to Wise, and just everybody holding it down, like I said, the whole round, man, and each and everybody who just reached out. Like I said, I know some of y'all have been trying to link up with y'all and the timing has just been off, but I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. We thank y'all. But again, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Central Time, we will be live talking some more shit about the playoffs. We'll probably have a call-in line open tomorrow. I know y'all want to call in and express your own thoughts, so we'll have the phone lines open tomorrow. You can call in, and if you want to talk about the upcoming game, if you still got some shit you want to spit on the last game, we'll make sure that we get all that in. But with that being said, dinner at 9 tonight. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. Most of all, y'all stay saucy, and we out, Jack.
Perfect.